All right, coming to you live from Austin, Texas, and OSCON. I'm here with Josh Bernstein. How are you, Josh?
How are you? I'm great.
Well, so you are the executive sponsor of EMC Code.
Yep.
And the VP of Technology for the advanced...
For EMC.
Okay, awesome.
EMC.
So let's start with EMC Code. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What is that all about?
Yeah, EMC Code is about making EMC relevant in the open source and DevOps ecosystems. We do that through a number of ways, one of which is creating our own projects. We contribute to relevant open source products. We do a lot with thought leaderships, trainings, and other types of programs around the country and around the world. And it's really all about technical credibility and technical relevance to our customers.
And what are some of the things you're focusing on? I think you're very container focused these days. You've got a couple of key projects that you've been talking about. Do you mind just chatting a little bit about those?
Yeah, sure. I think our biggest one, or one that's gained the most traction, is something called RexRay. RexRay is really storage orchestration, and it plugs into the Docker ecosystems like Docker and Mesos and Kubernetes. And it provides a layer of abstraction between storage providers, whether it be Google, Amazon, EMC's own storage products, or NFS products. We have a bunch of different plugins underneath it. And it gives you this ability, I think, for the first time to run persistent applications on a container, in containers, in a relatively sane way, and leverage all the capabilities that containers should give you.
So if you look at so far with what you've done with the EMC Code, what would you say is the thing that you're most proud of personally?
That's a really good question. I think it has to be, really coming up with a solution to run persistent apps and containers. In my previous life, I really was unable to solve that problem. And I think being able to do something like RexRay, we have a follow-on project now called Poly. We'll be introducing lib storage very soon. And so to provide an ecosystem and a technical solution for this problem and do it in a way that's applicable regardless of what scheduler you use or what storage platform you use is technically incredibly rewarding. So I love working on that stuff, and I'm glad that we were able to sort of find a niche and find a way to really contribute back to a community that I've been a part of for so many years.
So and going forward, you just gave a talk,
Yep.
a very cool talk, and
Thank you.
so you at the end you said we're hiring on your
That's right.
thing. So
That's
what
right.
are those hires? What are you looking for those to do? In other words, what direction are you planning on taking EMC Code that these folks will help
That's a great
flesh
question.
out?
We're hiring people that are interested in doing interesting open source projects or contributing to ones that exist or contributing to our own to help make EMC and EMC Code much more relevant in this space, right? I mean, at some point we have to take our core products and expand their value and expand their reach or their TAM to these new buyers and these new people in the ecosystems which are DevOps-minded people. So if you can't deploy my products like Scale.io and ECS with Puppet and Chef and these DevOps tools, if they don't plug in well to Docker and Mesos, then we're not really doing our job, and ultimately we're not providing a solution. And that's really what we're set up to do.
So the buzzword du jour is containers and microservices. You talked a little bit about containers. What would you see what other technologies do you have sort of in the back of your head of this is something I want to either investigate further or this is going to be the next big thing?
I don't know if it's going to be the next big thing, but I think our second biggest success of a project has been RackHD. RackHD fits really, really nicely with, hardware shows up in the data center and then what? It's the most primitive form of automation there is. Even before you get to Puppet and Docker and all these types of things, you have to solve what do I do with this server that showed up? And I think RackHD is really applies to that problem and solves that problem for the community and customers, and for the first time it's been open sourced. So I don't know, I'm not really familiar with any other projects in the community that can do like end-to-end lifecycle management for physical servers. We like to talk at these conferences and we like to talk about, infrastructure's not interesting, but in the end, like, Docker runs on infrastructure. Whether it be in the cloud or in your data center, like, you need to solve this problem. And so I'm really excited about RackHD. It's funny, right, because it's not, deploying bare metal is not the most interesting problem to solve, but I think it is the most fundamental. And I think it's a really great place to start, so I'm very excited about that. Probably maybe in the future we kicked off a project around something called Unique and unikernels. We're exploring that a little bit and seeing how interesting that's going to be, but it's a great way that we kind of poke the space a little bit and find out what's coming down the road next and just being ahead of the curve.
Awesome. Josh Bernstein, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.